The text message came through at 2:47 a.m. "Please, I'm begging you, take him back." It was from her. The woman who'd been sleeping with my husband for 8 months. The woman who'd smiled at me during the company Christmas party while secretly planning to steal my entire life. The woman who'd sent me a photo of them together with the caption, "He's mine now," just 6 months earlier. And now she was on her knees, digitally speaking, begging me to take back the man she'd fought so hard to win. My finger hovered over the screen. Part of me wanted to respond immediately, to twist the knife just a little deeper, but instead, I did something better. I smiled, set down my phone, poured myself a glass of wine, and let her wait. Because I knew something she didn't. Something I'd known for months. Something that made every sleepless night, every tear-stained pillow, every humiliating moment of this entire nightmare completely worth it. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, if you've ever watched a cheater get exactly what they deserve, or if you just love a good karma story, you're in the right place. Hit that like button right now, subscribe if you haven't already, and buckle up, because this is the kind of revenge that doesn't involve a single angry text or slashed tire. This is the kind where you just step back and let the universe do its thing. Trust me, you're gonna love this. Let me take you back 18 months. Picture this: suburban house with a 2-car garage, a golden retriever named Murphy, and a marriage that looked picture perfect from the outside. My husband, let's call him Derek, worked in sales at a mid-sized tech company. Charismatic guy, always knew how to work a room. That's actually what attracted me to him in the first place, back in college. He had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the world when he looked at you. Turns out, he made a lot of women feel that way. Me? I worked as a senior accountant at a healthcare firm. Not glamorous, I know. No one dreams of spreadsheets and tax codes. But I was good at it. Really good. I'd climbed from entry level to senior management in 7 years, and I was proud of that. Our life was comfortable. Not wealthy, but comfortable. We had a mortgage, car payments, the usual middle-class American debt load. Nothing alarming. Or so I thought. See, Derek and I had separate accounts for our personal spending and a joint account for household expenses. It was his idea, actually. We're both adults, he'd said early in our marriage. We should be able to spend our own money without asking permission, right? Made sense at the time, seemed mature even. Looking back, red flag number 1, her name was Jessica, and she joined his company about a year before everything imploded. 26 years old, 8 years younger than me. Long blonde hair, fitness influencer body, one of those people who somehow looks flawless, even in the harsh fluorescent lighting of an office building. The first time I met her was at that Christmas party I mentioned. She was friendly, almost too friendly, in that way that should have set off alarm bells, but instead just made me feel vaguely uncomfortable in a way I couldn't quite articulate. "Your husband is so helpful," she'd gushed, touching his arm. "I don't know what I'd do without him showing me the ropes." Derek had just laughed, playing it off, just being a good colleague. I'd smiled, nodded, told myself I was being paranoid. Red flag number 2. The signs started small. Coming home late, checking his phone constantly, angling it away from me. Taking calls in the garage, the classic stuff, really. Nothing I could point to and say definitively, "That's proof," but enough to make my stomach twist every time it happened. Then came the receipts I found in his pants pocket while doing laundry. Dinner at restaurants we'd never been to together. 2 entrees, 2 desserts, bottles of wine that cost more than our usual anniversary splurge. When I confronted him, he had an answer ready. "Client dinners, babe. You know how it is. Sales means whining and dining. Every Tuesday night. Big account, high maintenance." He looked me right in the eye when he said it. Didn't even flinch. Red flag number 3, 4, and 5. I found out the way so many betrayed spouses do. By accident, and in the most cliché way possible. He'd left his laptop open. Just for a minute, ran downstairs to grab his coffee. And there it was, right on the screen. An iMessage conversation with her. "Can't wait for this weekend. Tell her you have that conference." Already done. She bought it completely. God. I can't believe she doesn't suspect anything. That's because she's too busy with her boring spreadsheets to notice what's happening in the real world. That line. That specific line. It burned itself into my brain like a brand. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the laptop. My vision went blurry. You know that feeling when your whole body goes numb, but somehow every nerve ending is screaming at the same time? That I scrolled up. Months of messages, photos, plans. They'd been together for 8 months. 8 months of lies, of sleeping in the same bed with me after being with her, of kissing me goodbye in the morning after texting her goodnight. The conference he was supposedly attending that weekend. A beach house rental, 2 nights, romantic sunset photos already being planned. Here's where I did something that surprised even me. I didn't scream, didn't throw things, didn't even cry, not right then. Instead, I took screenshots. Lots of them. Saved them to my personal cloud, emailed them to myself, backed them up 3 different ways. Then I closed the laptop and went back to making breakfast. When he came back upstairs, I smiled at him, asked about his day, kissed him on the cheek, and I started planning. See, this is where being good with numbers became my superpower. I'd always handled our joint finances, bills, mortgage, that kind of thing. But his personal account? That was his domain, remember? Adult independence and all that. But here's the thing about being married. You have access, legal access. You're authorized on accounts, even if you don't actively use them. So I started looking. What I found made the affair look like a minor inconvenience. Derek wasn't just cheating on me romantically. He was cheating on me financially, and on a scale that made my blood run cold. 3 credit cards I didn't know about. Total balance, $87,000. A personal loan from an online lender, the kind with predatory interest rates, $45,000. A car lease for a BMW I'd never seen. Because it was parked at Jessica's apartment complex, $52,000 remaining on the lease, with buyout penalties. Business expenses he'd fronted on personal credit, promising his company would reimburse him, except they wouldn't, because half of them were fake. Dinners with Jessica masquerading as client meetings, hotel rooms logged as conference expenses, gift purchases labeled as client appreciation gifts. Another $23,000 total hidden debt, just over $200,000. My hands were shaking when I found the last statement. We're talking about debt that equaled nearly 3 years of his salary, debt that in our state, I would be equally responsible for in a divorce. He'd been making minimum payments from his salary, which explained why he'd been too tight on cash to contribute more to our joint account lately. Why I'd been covering more than my share of the mortgage and bills. Most people would have confronted him immediately. Probably should have, but here's where my accounting brain took over. I consulted with a divorce attorney, quietly, paid cash so there'd be no paper trail. The attorney explained community property law, debt responsibility, what I could and couldn't protect. Then she asked me a question that changed everything. Has he moved any assets? Transferred money? Given gifts? Not yet, I said, but I think he's planning to leave me for her. The attorney leaned forward. Then maybe you let him. She explained the strategy. In our state, debt incurred during marriage is shared equally, unless one party can prove the other hid the debt with intent to defraud. Given that he'd actively concealed these accounts, I had a case for him taking full responsibility. But here's the beautiful part. I had to be the one filing for divorce. And I had to do it at exactly the right time, with exactly the right paper trail. Let him think he's leaving you, she said. Let him move the affair forward. Let him move in with her, combine finances with her, make promises to her. And then, she didn't have to finish the sentence. For the next 2 months, I was a method actor playing the role of a clueless wife. I found excuses for why I couldn't join him for events. Encouraged him to take time for himself. Even suggested in a moment of Oscar-worthy performance that maybe we needed a little space to work on ourselves. Really? His eyes had lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. Really? I'd said, touching his hand, playing the concerned spouse. I just feel like we've been distant lately. Maybe if we take a tiny step back, we'll appreciate each other more. He'd agreed so fast I almost laughed. Within a week, he'd moved half his clothes out. Said he was staying with a buddy to give us that space. The buddy's place had surprisingly feminine curtains and a vanity mirror, but I digress. Jessica, bless her heart, wasn't subtle about her victory. The Instagram post started immediately. Photos of them together. Nothing explicit, just suggestive. His hand on her lower back. Wine glasses clinking. Sunset beach walks. She tagged locations, restaurants, wine bars. That BMW he'd leased, in a candid photo with the caption, "Sunday drives with my favorite person." Each post was a little dig at me, even though she never mentioned me by name. She didn't have to. Everyone in his company knew. Everyone in our social circle could read between the lines. Finally feeling appreciated, one caption read. "When you know," said another, with a photo of them kissing. My friends would send them to me, outraged on my behalf. "Are you seeing this? How dare she?" "It's fine," I'd tell them, my voice sad but resigned. "If he's happier with her, then maybe it's for the best." They thought I was being too mature about it, too gracious. They had no idea I was collecting every single post, every tagged location, every time-stamped piece of evidence of their relationship. 2 months in, Jessica posted a photo that made my attorney actually laugh out loud when I showed her. A key on a white marble counter. Caption, "Big steps with my love." He'd moved in with her. Officially. But here's where it got even better. 3 weeks later, another post. A screenshot of a banking app, the details blurred out, but with clear text visible. Joint account activated. "They've combined finances," I told my attorney. "Perfect," she said. "Give it another month. Let them settle in. Let them feel secure. Let her get really, really comfortable with the idea that she won." The final straw, the one I'd been waiting for, came 4 months after he'd moved out. A professional photo shoot. Both of them dressed in white on a beach at sunset. Her hand on his chest, his arms around her waist. Sickeningly romantic. Caption, "He's mine now. When you know someone is your forever, you just know. So grateful every day that I found my person." She'd posted it publicly. Tagged him. Tagged the location. Made sure the whole world could see. My phone buzzed with messages from friends. "OMG, are you okay?" "I can't believe her audacity. Want me to report her account?" I replied to each one with some variation of, "I'm fine, really. I've accepted it." Then I called my attorney. File the papers. The divorce petition was a work of art. Every hidden credit card, listed with dates and amounts. Every concealed loan, documented with statements I'd legally obtained. The BMW lease he'd claimed was for work purposes, exposed as personal. The client dinners cross-referenced with company records. His boss had been very cooperative when I'd approached him privately, especially after learning his star. Salesman was fraudulently expensing personal costs, documentation, showing he'd been contributing less to our household, while taking on massive personal debt for an affair. And the kicker, a motion that he be held solely responsible for all debt incurred through fraudulent concealment based on state precedent for financial infidelity. My attorney added a personal touch. Petitioner requests that community property debt protections be waived for respondent due to willful concealment and fraudulent intent. In plain English, you hid it, you bought it. I had him served at work. Not out of cruelty. Okay, maybe a little bit of cruelty. But because I needed witnesses that he'd received the papers. I needed a timestamp. His boss called me that afternoon. "I want you to know," he said carefully, "that we've launched an internal investigation into Derek's expense reports. What you showed me, we found more. A lot more." "Oh?" I kept my voice neutral. "He's being terminated, and we're pursuing legal action for the fraudulent expenses. Just thought you should know for your case." I thanked him, hung up, and allowed myself a small smile. The dominoes were falling. Derek called me 17 times that day. I didn't answer. He texted, We need to talk, now. I replied, all communication needs to go through my attorney. Her contact info is in the papers. Are you serious right now? You're really doing this? Attorney, papers, have a good day. I blocked his number. Jessica called me that night. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. What the hell are you doing? She was trying to sound tough, but I could hear the panic underneath. Filing for divorce. Was that unclear? He told me you were fine with everything. That you'd agreed to separate peacefully. Oh, we are separating peacefully. Very peacefully. Through the legal system, with proper documentation. But the debts, he said those were joint debts, that you'd help. They're not my debts, I said sweetly. They're his, incurred through fraud and concealment. My attorney is very confident about that. You can't do this. You can't just... I can, actually. I am. And Jessica? Congratulations on winning him. I hope you two are very happy together. I hung up before she could respond. The calls continued over the next few weeks, but I didn't answer any of them. Through my attorney, I learned the details. His company had fired him and was pursuing him for $31,000 in fraudulent expenses. The credit card companies, now aware he was in divorce proceedings, had frozen his cards and demanded immediate payment plans. The personal loan company, same deal. The BMW? Repossessed when he missed a payment. His credit score plummeted to the low 500s practically overnight. And Jessica? Jessica suddenly found herself living with an unemployed man with $200,000 in debt, destroyed credit, and no immediate prospects. My attorney reported that his lawyer was very interested in negotiating a settlement where I might consider taking on some of the debt. What did you tell him? I asked. I laughed, she said. Professionally, of course, but I laughed. The late-night text came 6 months into the divorce proceedings. Please, I'm begging you, take him back. I stared at it for a long time. More messages followed. He's depressed. He won't get out of bed. I can't afford to support both of us. He said you were the one with the good job, that you made good money. I didn't sign up for this. Please, you were married to him for 8 years. You loved him once. Please just take him back. I took a screenshot of that conversation too. Then I typed out a response. Deleted it, typed another one. Deleted that too. Finally, I settled on. You won him fair and square. He's all yours. Enjoy your prize. Her response came immediately. You're a cold-hearted bitch. I smiled at my phone. No, I typed back. I'm just an accountant who's good with numbers. The math never added up. You just didn't bother to check. Then I blocked her number too. The divorce was finalized 8 months after I filed. I kept the house. Murphy the golden retriever, my retirement accounts, my car, he kept his debt. All $207,000 of it, once his company's lawsuit was factored in. The judge agreed with my attorney's argument about fraudulent concealment. Every single penny of that debt was assigned to him. In the hallway after the hearing, he tried to approach me. His lawyer held him back, but he called out, "How can you do this to me? I made mistakes, but this is my whole life you're destroying." I stopped, turned around, looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time in months. He looked smaller somehow, defeated. The charisma I'd once found so attractive had curdled into something desperate and pathetic. "You destroyed your own life," I said quietly. "I just stopped letting you destroy mine too. That was 4 months ago." I heard through mutual friends that Jessica left him 6 weeks after the divorce finalized. Apparently, she'd found someone new, someone with better financial stability. The irony was not lost on me. He moved back in with his parents, at 42 years old. His credit is destroyed for at least 7 years, maybe longer depending on how he manages the debt. The bankruptcy his lawyer recommended will follow him forever. Me? I got a promotion at work, senior director now, with a salary bump that let me refinance the house into just my name, at a better interest rate. I started dating again, casually. Nothing serious yet, but it's nice to remember what it feels like to be wanted by someone who isn't lying to you. I took Murphy on a road trip to Colorado, just the two of us. Hiked mountains, slept in the car, ate gas station sandwiches, and watched sunsets. And every single night, I sleep like a baby, knowing that I don't share a bed with a liar anymore. Here's what I learned from all of this. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate schemes or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes it's just stepping out of the way and letting someone experience the natural consequences of their choices. He thought I was too boring to notice, too stupid to figure it out, too weak to do anything about it. Turns out, I was just smart enough to let him win, and then watch what he'd actually won. Jessica thought she was getting a charming, successful man who'd leave his boring wife for her. She got him, all right. All of him, including the parts he'd hidden from both of us. And me? I got my self-respect back, my peace back, my life back. The affair broke my heart. But the debt, the lies, the disrespect, that just made me an accountant with a really, really good attorney. So, what did you think? Did that give you the justice chills or what? If this story hit different for you, absolutely demolish that like button right now. And drop a comment below. Have you ever watched someone face the consequences of their own bad decisions? Or better yet, have you ever been underestimated by someone who learned real quick that they messed with the wrong person? Share your story. I want to hear it. And of course, subscribe for more stories where karma doesn't just knock. It breaks down the door and moves in permanently. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.